Good morning, everybody. I am here to talk about the Tao. Today we're working with Tao of the day. Once again, it is Monday. I'm feeling good. I had a great night's sleep, and I am excited to be with you today as we are looking at the Tao. I have 7 different translations open, and I am ready to take your number between 1 and 81. This morning, I was talking with my Spanish, the person I talk to in South America once a week. We have a little Spanish English trade off, and um, what we do is just kind of communicate and talk in different ways and whatnot. And what I've been doing is translating my translation of the Tao into Spanish as well. And so I'm going to be putting out an English and Spanish version of my Tao, and I just decided to do that this morning. Like, why not? That'll be fun. And so I'm gonna go through and I'm going to start going through these and writing them in Spanish as well, and seeing if they're done. And I'll meet with my buddy Alex um, in Belize, and we'll see if they can all line up. So I just explained what the Tao is to him this morning, and I'm going to do that right now. So the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and that's around a time that I believe we as conscious beings, as people, we're moving through one stage of our evolution into another, and that was when we started really embracing logic. That's why we had writing. In order to get writing, we had to go through centuries of figuring out, well, what are we going to write down? How are we going to write? How are we going to use language? What does that mean? Centuries and centuries had to go by for us to get to that place. And so going from a state of being connected to relationship to going to a state to be connecting to logic and being connected to the space of, hey, we're going to write this stuff down and we're going to solidify these things. Well, Tao before that had no solid things, right? Tao, when we trusted Tao, we had nothing solid, nothing to, really plant our flag into. And then once we started writing things down, we said, oh, see, this is right, this is wrong, and we're gonna differentiate. And differentiating was the first step to separating ourselves from Tao and moving into the structure that we currently have today. Well, we are in a state of reconnecting with Tao. We're in a state of another level, another level of connecting with the feminine, the great feminine, and the great power of feminine. Structure is great. Structure, has taken us as far as it can until we can open ourselves up to a new level of understanding, and that's where we're headed now, right? We've taken money, and we've taken education, and we've taken right and wrong, and we've taken all of these things just about as far as we can, and now it's time to step back and see what the hell is going on. And that's why it's important for me to have this translation of Tao available as soon as I can. I love it, and I love you. Lois, how are you, my friend?
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
I am well. You sound like you're back home.
Yeah, I'm back home. Kind of off of my time schedule. 'Cause I woke up
I
Paris
bet.
time here, so it's like I'm wide awake, but it's time to get up now. So I got to go to sleep because I got appointments.
Yeah, you gotta get back
So
into it.
I'm kind of backwards right now. But hey, it was a fan fucking tastic time I had. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and lie,
No,
and
you better.
I'm still learning what I learned.
That's
Okay, and
right.
I'm
Yeah, it takes
still being
time.
healed. Yeah.
It is there in you, and you may not know all of the you may not ever know all of the you will not ever know all of the things that you learned, but you are changed by this
Oh, most definitely, permanently. Okay.
permanently. And that's the thing. Even if you were to find yourself you go to sleep tonight, you wake up tomorrow, you're permanently changed. You know,
Yes.
this event changed you in a lot greater fashion than other things like that, like going to bed, but it still changed you. And it's gonna and it may give you change and have you learn things actually consciously rather than just subconsciously.
Hmm. It's
Yeah.
going to reverberate, and it's been reverberating it, but it's going to reverberate far beyond, like you said, what I think I've learned.
That's
Okay,
right. It's
I, I know,
and
I
it's
know,
gonna
I know
it's
on top of my
spreading.
head what it was, but every time I have a conversation with somebody and they ask me about the trip, more is revealed, and I'm like, oh shit, look at that, check
That's
that
right.
box, check that box, check that box. So it was, I like I said, it was difficult a little bit, but it wasn't. It was like it was
It's
mostly.
behind you now, so it doesn't have any
Yeah,
difficulty, right?
it was. No,
Like
I no. I'm just saying it doesn't have difficulty now. I'm
I
just saying
get you. Yeah.
at the time it
Yeah.
was challenging. It
You were
wasn't really
challenged.
difficult. It was
That's right.
challenging. Funny. Oh my god, I was so fucking funny. I couldn't believe how funny I was because I was watching me trying to communicate. I told you before, and that
Mhm.
was the funniest stuff. And then the battle up the mountain with my mind, and my mind, one mind saying quit, the other mind saying you got this.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
just witnessing the journey. Now I was by myself, but I witnessed my journey because I know how to do that. I know how to step out of my head, okay, and into that heart space, and I was able to witness myself going up the mountain, and that was amazing right there. Just witnessing how the struggle of the human spirit.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Like that's like just being able to be witness to that is
Hmm.
such a big deal. Like you don't have to be victim to it. You can be witness to it.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Like I said, the conversations that was going on in my head had me cracking up. Okay,
I bet.
and
I
before
bet.
I knew it, I got to the top of the mountain. I was like, "I'll be damned! Look at this shit! Ha! Hey!"
All right.
But
Well, let's see if we can glean anything from the Tao today. We got a number.
okay. Well, the number that's been coming with the numbers that I've had several repeated numbers coming up. I've had everything except eights and fours repeated
Mm,
coming up that I've been seeing because I had to drive to California to go get my dog. And I got back. Well, that's probably why I got up early because I had my sleep patterns messed up. But the only numbers that intrigued me was the sixes. So give me 66.
66. Off we go. And I got a different translation that I've been using to help me write mine. I'm going to read that.
Okay.
Rivers and seas are rulers of the streams of hundreds of valleys because of the power of their low position. If you want to be the ruler of people, you must speak to them like you are their servant. If you want to lead other people, you must put their interest ahead of your own. The people will not feel burdened if a wise person in their is in a position of power. The people will not feel like they are being manipulated if a wise person is in front of them as their leader. The whole world will ask for her guidance and will never get tired of her because she does not like to compete. No one can compete with the things she accomplishes. With the
I'm sorry.
that's
Hey, we had
that's all right.
that. We both danced at that part because we know what I've been through. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's right. That's so beautiful because she does not like to compete, and you ain't been competing with nobody.
I ain't competing with no damn body. I'm just testing myself, seeing what the fuck I'm made of. I don't give it. I'm not. I'm not like I don't care about other people, but I don't
No,
give a
of
shit
course.
because it's about me and my journey and this journey that I'm having. And as long as I'm having a positive, fan fucking tastic, loving journey, everybody around me is going to benefit. So I'm not worrying about them.
See,
I
this is
was concerned
what a
about me making.
beautiful verse for you today.
Yeah, that cause like that's why I had to laugh. That was just
Yeah.
what the hell. Okay, so I did pick the right because I was like, okay, God, what do I pick? I don't even know what to pick. That well, you've seen the nines come up for you, you've seen the eights come up,
Hmm.
sevens, and the sixes, and the And like, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, so I'll pick. He said, but this was perfect. This was perfect because I'm not in competition with nobody. I've never
Yeah.
been in competition with anybody. People may have thought I was in competition with me. They may have been in competition with me, but
Yeah, that's
I was
on them.
with nobody but me because I'm always trying to beat the best of me.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the best I did? And the best I did ain't even come yet because every day I'm doing my best. Okay. Regardless to what it is, whether it's getting dressed and getting myself prepared to go meet the world, or whether it's watching TV with my dog. Okay. Watching comedy,
Hmm.
whatever. I am doing my best at all times. So I ain't got to worry about beating no damn body. Shit. I'm beating me. Okay, that takes up all the time,
That's right. And
you
here,
know.
like as it starts, rivers and streams are rulers of the rivers and seas. No, yeah, rivers and seas are the rulers of the streams of 100 valleys because of the power of their low places. Like it says seas and rivers, and I'm intrigued by that. Like rivers are lower than the streams, and the
Mm.
streams are coming in to the rivers, making the rivers bigger, and then the rivers flow to the seas because the seas are lower. And so everything is about getting low and being humble and being in this space in a
And
position where we can learn.
being in the flow, okay?
Yes.
And rivers and streams and oceans and everything, they're in flow and in flux, okay? It doesn't matter what obstacle they incur. They're going to bear their way around it, go through it, go over it, or whatever. So that river and stream thing, I characterize that as being how I've become. Because no matter what was thrown at me, they threw the kitchen sink at my ass over there because I
Mm.
couldn't shit. Okay. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna roll with this. And Lois, I'm rolling with it. What do you mean? I'm rolling with it. I got had a 10-hour layover on the way home, and everybody get on the next flight. Go and stand by. Go and stand. No, I'm going. Evidently, I'm supposed to be at this airport for this 10-hour layover. So I'm rolling with it, and met beautiful people that I'm gonna see again today in Vegas. I mean, tomorrow in Vegas.
Oh
So
man.
I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm just rolling with it. Even when I was there, all the tours got canceled. Four of them, four got canceled. One was rescheduled, so that was the one I went on. But everything else, I had to just go with the flow and go where my feet took me. Sometimes
Hmm.
jumped on the little rickshaw bicycle thing. Sometimes
Oh,
I train or the boat. Okay, but I just went wherever the hell God led me, and that's why I believe that I had a fan fucking tastic time because I wasn't bound by the tour guide. I wasn't bound by a schedule. I wasn't bound by you gotta be, you gotta do, you must do, you have to. It was like, hey, I'm here. Shit, I think it's time to get
that's
here,
right.
baby. I'm just gonna walk with it and roll with it. And all the walking and rolling by myself in Paris the first 5 days helped me to make that journey up that mountain that I didn't know was going to be so treacherous.
Yeah.
Real. And that was the piece that I was like so grateful for, and all the little things, all the little training ground I had before I left, with me hiking up Mary Jane Falls and
Hmm.
hiking all the little trails I was hiking in the previous time before I went. All of it prepared me for that. And I didn't even know it was preparing me. I was just doing it because it was fun. It was just
Yeah.
okay, and then I get there and I have to hike and I didn't look at the grandness of the scale of the length I would have to go to make it to the top. But when I was at the bottom and I looked back at it after I came down, I love looking back at stuff. When I looked back at it,
Mhm.
I saw how far I went. I
Yeah.
told you, I almost fell to the ground to my knees and cried because I know I was crawling. Shit,
Yeah.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do shit. I died, damn it.
Yep. That's
And then
right. That's
go
right.
all the way to the top of the man by myself in a forest. Black people, no, you don't do that.
I'm telling you.
No,
I'm
'cause
telling you.
at least that's what, that
When
was
I see black folks in the woods, I'm always like, anytime I'm going on a hike, I'm always just like, hey, how you guys doing? I'm real nice because it's just like, I know y'all know it's not what you do.
yeah, it's not, yeah, because you take, don't you go in the woods, you don't come
That's
out,
right. I know
and
it.
of course, and that was part of the mind, the mind emotion battle climbing that mountain,
Yep.
and since I accidentally took the rough side of the
Mm-hmm.
mountain, it made it even more meaningful to me, because it was apropos to the way my life has been going up the rough side, coming from the rough side, and now it's fucking smooth as sailing. And I know that I
Yeah.
can keep the sail up and I can just go with the flow because I let go of the shore after my daughter died and said, I'm just going to just flow with whatever life brings me. It doesn't matter. Y'all can call it tragedy. Y'all can call it trauma. Y'all can, anything y'all want to call it. Oh my God, that's confusing. Oh, you must have been terrible. Must be whatever it is. I'm just gonna roll with it, just like the rivers roll to the ocean and the streams and the trickles and all. And I'm just gonna just edge my way through by not offering any resistance, by
Yeah.
not offering any fucking resistance. Before, oh my God, let me call the next person. Let me call it. And I tried to do that. Let me get the next tour guide. Let me get,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I was and it was unsuccessful in doing that. So I said, oh okay. And then it dawned on
Surrender.
me. Yeah, I surrendered. I totally surrendered. And then it came to me, Lois, you relapsed when you sat there and you planned all them tours so that you would have somebody with you. Because
Mhm.
I had a mime thing.
Yeah.
Somebody with you so you wouldn't think that you were by yourself. You were playing to the old Lois that was scared to be alone, scared to go places, scared to do things. But you ain't that ain't you anymore. And
Mm-mm.
when I realized that was a relapse situation after the third tour got canceled, I was like, oh fuck this shit. I'm doing what I do in Vegas. I'm winging it. I'm gonna go where the spirit leads.
That's
And
right.
because I offered no resistance, it was the most blessed experience. And I know most people, how'd you speak? How'd you get your food? And because this is what I've been asked. How'd you get the
Mm.
food? Because you're gluten free. Man, I learned how to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was
Yeah.
successful. I finally posted pictures. I finally posted pictures on my Facebook. That was a lot. So I
I
don't know
bet.
if I post them on Instagram, but that was a lot. So but if y'all want to see the pictures, y'all can go to my Facebook, whatever, and look at the thing. I think I'm public.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know
but
I
it,
found
it
you on
was a
Facebook.
journey.
Yeah.
It was a journey, and I loved every minute of it, even the journey to, the journey from, the preparation of, and the aftermath. It's
Yeah.
all been fucking amazing every day, and I'm waking up every day saying, I did that shit.
That's
Goddamn.
right.
Bad.
Yeah.
You bad. You bad. Go Lord. Go Lord.
You know, I'm reading this 66, and as you're talking, it's like we have this line: the people will not be burdened if a wise person is in a position of power. The people will not feel like they are being manipulated if a wise person is in front of them as a leader. And I always look at these things as there are no other people. So you
Right.
are the wise person in the position of power in your life. And when you are relapsing, you are
Mm-hmm.
not the wise person in the
Mm-mm.
position of power. And then there's resistance, and then there's burden, and then there's the feeling of being manipulated. When you are not the wise person, when you are the person that is in fear, when you're the person that can't surrender,
Mm-hmm.
the
But
whole
that's
world will
me.
ask for guidance. Go ahead.
Surrendering is a pivotal part of growth. Okay,
That's
that's that, and if we realize that, then we will understand that surrender is not a negative thing to do.
no, no.
Okay, surrender is so fucking powerful. It
Yeah.
is so fucking powerful. And when people catch wind of that, hey, y'all gonna be able to do any goddamn thing. Cause I did it. Yay,
That you
me.
you did. Thank you so much, Lois. Thank you for bringing up 66. What a beautiful chapter that was. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you did it, and I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad you're safe, and all as well. And you are continuing to integrate all of that into your life. As this piece ends, the whole world will ask for her guidance, and will never get tired of her. And the whole world is you. And when you can ask that you for the guidance, when you can look into yourself and say, that strength that I had when I was in France, that strength, that's the me that I want to be asking for guidance. And then you'll never get tired of that person. You know, you're going to get tired of the person that's like, I can't do it. You're going to get tired of the person that's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Oh, I'm scared. You're going to get tired of that person. You're going to get tired of that person right quick, you know, but you're not going to get tired of that person that goes, yes, let's do this. You know, like years and years ago, like I ran across the phrase, say less, say yes. And I want to embrace living. I want to embrace the ability to do anything. I want to embrace the ability to love myself and to love others and just be here in this moment. And that's what I see here. The whole world will ask her for her guidance. And what does that mean? The whole world will ask, you know, like the whole world, you will ask you for your own guidance, and you will never get tired of her because she doesn't like to compete. No one can compete with her on the things she accomplishes. I love how that's written. It ends like, no one can compete with her with the things she accomplishes. It's like you've accomplished this. Like just like you were talking about getting up the mountain and everything, like you can't be compete with things you've accomplished. This is a great way of like I can't even really describe how awesome that phrase is, how awesome it is to be like no one compete with the things she accomplishes because she accomplishes things. And it's not about what she does, you know, because everything she does is accomplished. So beautiful. So that was 66 from McDonald. It is a new translation I've been using as I've been writing my own. If anybody wants to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81, I would love to have you. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the 54. And I guess I'll stay with McDonald. Why not? I mean, I can go to 54 here on McDonald. 54 is going to be the next verse that I will be making a rendition of. And as I mentioned earlier, I am going to be doing this in English and Spanish. And yeah, that's fun. This is a nice little challenge for me to write this in both English and Spanish. And I'll have two different books available, one in English and one in Spanish. Or I'll put them both in one maybe, and then just you can just buy that. But either way, I want to be able to, you know, have fun with my Spanish and also kind of just challenge myself to write that one as well. So, okay, so 54, if nobody wants to come up and pick a number, 54 states, that which is well built will never be torn down. That which is well latched cannot slip away. That those who do things well will be honored from generation to generation. If this idea is cultivated in the individual, then there is virtue. Then his virtue will become genuine. If this idea is cultivated in your family, then virtue in your family will be great. If this idea is cultivated in your community, then virtue will be a long way. And it'll probably last a long time. If this idea is cultivated in your country, then virtue will be in many places. Hmm. If this idea is cultivated in the world, then virtue will be with everyone. Then observe the person for what the person does, and observe the family for what the family does, observe the community for what community does, observe the country for what it does, observe the world for what it does. How do I know this saying is true? I observe these things and see. Burp, burp, burp. So I've lost track of this in the middle somewhere, and I have to go back to the beginning because the beginning is the thing that we're talking about. This first 6 lines or whatever they are, like observe the person for what the person does. You know, if this idea is cultivated in the individual, then his virtue will become genuine. Observe the person for what the person does. And what is the idea that needs to be cultivated for you to observe the person for what the person does so that their virtue become genuine? That's the big sort of cyclical question that's being asked here about the individual, the family, the community, the country, and the world. What is it? Let's go back to those first lines and see what this is. That which is well built will never be torn down. That which is latched cannot slip away. Those who do things well will be honored from generation to generation. Okay, this is very interesting because I don't know what that's getting at. If this idea is cultivated, if this idea is cultivated, if this idea is cultivated, if this idea that that which is well built will never be torn away, that which is well latched can never slip away, those who do things well will be honored from generation to generation. This is a deep meditation, I think, on this idea that which is built well will never be torn down. Well, what does it mean to be well built? What does it mean to be well latched? See, this is why I want to write a translation of the Tao, because this, again, I don't have to understand this, but this is not necessarily clear. I'm going to move over to um, I'm going to move over to Stephen Mitchell, because Stephen Mitchell is the one that really helped me understand Tao in a deeper way. So McDonald was tough, but here we are at Mitchell. Whoever is planted and endowed will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let Tao be present in your life and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family. Let it be present in your country. Let it be present in the universe. Okay, how do I know this is true? By looking inside myself and see what it's saying here is let Tao do that, right? That which is well built, that which is built um, on the foundation of Tao will never be torn away. That which is latched, that which is latched or secured, that which is secured within the foundation of Tao cannot slip away. Those who do things well will be honored. Those who, are attached to all of the things that we're talking about in Tao, right? When we talk about not competing, when we talk about governing yourself and others, um, when we talk about being still, when we talk about not having um, when we talk about not having what? When we talk about not having uh, desires, right? So that which is well built, that which is built with a foundation of Tao, a life that is built with a foundation of Tao will not be torn down. You'll never feel like your life isn't worth it if you are here living and it's built well. It is built well on the foundation of Tao. If that which is well latched, if that which is secured within a foundation of Tao cannot slip away. Those who do things well will be honored. Those who do things from a position of being inspired by Tao will be honored from generation to generation. Okay, that makes more sense because then we can kind of continue looking at the at different verses. We can continue looking at other chapters of Tao in order for that to in order for us to understand if this idea is cultivated in the individual. Okay, if the individual is able to build his life within the foundation of Tao and is able to secure his or her life with a foundation of Tao, then their virtue will be genuine. If the idea is cultivated in your family, if you're able to pass that concept on to your loved ones, then your family will be great, right? Because your family will not be caught up in the manifestation. And then if your family can do it, you can get other families, you can inspire other people to do it. This isn't about teaching people, it's just about being so that other people are inspired to do that, right? Because I mean this is how marketing works, right? Like if we can get the individual to buy a Jeep and love their Jeep, well, then we can get their whole family to buy Jeeps and love the Jeep. And if your family has Jeeps, well, then your neighbors are going to buy Jeeps. And if your neighbors buy Jeeps, then your whole town is going to buy Jeeps. And if your whole town buys Jeeps, then the whole country is going to buy Jeeps, and then the world. And that is how McDonald's wants to work. That's how, like companies want to work. That's how it's like, look, if you know, like I think I have thought this for a number of years that McDonald's likes litter, because the more people litter their cups, the more their cups, like on the side of the road, tell everybody, hey, go to McDonald's. Um, and so that's not built on a foundation of Tao. That's built on a foundation of profit, or built on a foundation of fear, or built on a foundation where individuals are not individuals, but companies are trying to manipulate individuals, as we talked about with like she doesn't want to manipulate people like the master, right? That's not about manipulating. It's about appreciating and not competing. um, so then observe the person for what the person does. And I really love that line, because we often can find ourselves giving, um, what is it called? Benefit of the doubt, right? I've talked about benefit of the doubt before, this idea that like, oh, we'll give people the benefit of the doubt because they're famous, or we'll give people benefit of the doubt because of whatever, like, but if you observe the person for what the person does, then you can kind of say, well, they don't deserve benefit of the doubt. It's like why do famous people deserve benefit of the doubt? Like I'm in a world of sobriety, and so there are many times where people are on the verge of, like they're living actually like really kind of diseased lives, or they're living lives that are not really foundational. Like they don't have a foundation. It's just things that they say, and when that happens, it's really difficult to but if we were to observe the people, if we were to actually observe their actions, and then we would be able to um, observe that person for what they do and for who they are. And we can observe the family for what they do and who they are. And we don't have to ever give benefit of the doubt. We can give everybody benefit of the doubt equally, and we can just observe. How do I know this is true? I observe these things and see. And that's this is what McDonald is saying. It's just like we observe this as we observe Tao being practiced, and calm being, like what we observe in the world is like anger, frustration, and greed, and like the things that are so disgusting that like we can embrace, it's that are hard to embrace. It's like we can see that. And I wonder if this is, so uh I'm wondering, there is, maybe it's the cycle. um No, I'm not sure. I had an idea that like I wanted to read a verse. Mm. We're gonna have a guest come on. Phantom Electric, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing all right.
Good. So I don't know that we've talked before, unless you've changed
No,
your
I
handle.
no, I've seen requests for me to talk, and I never was able to get in. So today I got
Oh,
in.
wonderful. Well, I'm glad. So have you listened to Tao of the Day before?
I've listened to you briefly a couple times, so I'd like to understand more about what you're doing.
Yeah. So what I do is I ask. So I utilize the Tao Te Ching, which has 81 verses, and the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text. Around 600 BCE, it was written, and it consists of 81 verses or chapters. They're fairly short. And what I do is I ask people to step up and pick a number between 1 and 81. We then will read that text and see how that relates to your life, or see how you connect with that verse.
Oh, okay. Well, 22.
22. And let's see here, 22. So 22, I utilize the title Looking Away from What You Want. To become complete, know that you're partial. To become straight, know that you're crooked. To become full, know that you're empty. To be new, know that you're worn out. He who wants it all must know what all includes. Thus, the master stays centered in Tao and becomes an example for the world. Because she knows her light is forfeit, people can see it. Because she has no point to prove, people can trust her words. Because she has no identity, she becomes a mirror for others. Because she has nothing to attain, nothing can be kept from her. This is the final section. Thus, when it is said to become complete, know that you're partial. It is wise to heed and surrender to it. Only by living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion. Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Well, it just seems like it's like an open book that you can be like a mirror, um, and which I guess is a good thing, but then depends on what you're mirroring.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way of putting it.
Because there are people in the world. If you were mirroring Stalin or you know Idi Amin or Hitler, you might not want to be doing that. Um, so it's kind of like dependent on. I guess it assumes that the mirror might be positive, but the way the world is, it could be negative.
Right. Like I love this line in here that states, "He who wants it all must know what all includes."
Yeah, you
You
kind
know,
of
like
gotta know. Maybe that's a
what
warning.
Yeah, and it's like, like there's these four things that it starts with. To become complete, know that you're partial. Like you are partial. Like like tomorrow we are going to have more experience than we have today. So if we can at least approach this moment knowing that we don't know everything and we aren't, like, we're perfect as we are right now, but we're still bringing information in.
Yeah, I mean, you're never finished. I'm an artist, so I'm a musician, right?
Yeah.
So we always learn. Like you can either think that like you did everything and there's nothing for you to do, and you just stay. Like if you're a blues guy, you just stay in the blues, right?
Right.
Right. If you're a rock, you just stay in the rock. But if you're more adventurous, be like a Prince, you mix genres.
Yeah.
And you go into freeform jazz, you go into fusion, you do some country, you do some classical. You don't say, "Well, I'm bored." Well, you're bored because you're not challenging yourself.
Yeah. And then the next line is, to become straight, know that you're crooked. Like, I was talking to someone the other day about the idea that, like, once you define something as straight, you immediately start to notice where it's not straight. It's like you just kind of focus on those things once you've defined it.
Yeah, it's just a learning process. Like everything, like I'm in two different careers. I'm in IT. I do system design.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 54, so my original system design was done on mainframes with
Right.
COBOL. Now we're doing, you know, blockchain. So we've had to, like, if you thought, well, I'm the best, well, at COBOL, but now COBOL is kind of over, but not really. There's still tons of mainframes, but it's like you could just make a living doing COBOL. But if you really want to get to the future, you kind of got to be into blockchain and the cloud computing. So
Right.
you never stop learning. Like part of what we do in our business is we build stuff that doesn't exist. We're emerging technologies that happen like exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be willing to learn. You
Yeah.
can't just say, well, I don't want to do that. Like you have to, because if you don't, you'll be like you won't have a job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it continues, to know that you're empty, or to become full, know that you're empty. Like, and to be new, know that you're worn out. I mean, those things are important to recognize, or we won't be open. Like just like you're saying, to know that there is something to offer, right? To know that you know everything. Start by knowing that you don't know it all, right?
Yeah,
Like, start by knowing that you know nothing.
yeah, that's why you see today like every piece of software on your cell phone gets updated constantly,
Yeah.
because we have realized that we're never done, right? In our community of people who design stuff, we know we can't know everything that could happen, right?
Right.
We try to do everything we can, but then we get bugs, we get things we didn't expect, right? So the computer doesn't know anything. It has to know everything that's ever going to happen, and so there's no way to do that, and so
Right.
we're always going to fix it, and so it's never going to be done. like, which is kind of cool because the way the world is today, we can constantly update the software, not like in the old days where you got like a CD and you had to wait for a CD to come be
Right.
delivered to update. Now we can just do it in the middle of the night when you don't even know. We just updating stuff automatically. But yeah, we're never done.
Right.
Our
You're
our
constantly changing.
yeah,
And we have to be able to embrace the idea that we're never done and that we're going to be here doing this. And if we want to be done, then we have to recognize that we're not.
yeah. It's something that you start to learn. I've embraced it for the last 10 years that we've realized that we have continually evolving stuff that we have to continually maintain, or we have to finally say, hey, we don't support this anymore because
Right.
we burned it out. We can't do that anymore. We have to do something totally different. So we have to make a decision. It's like we can't use this technology because it doesn't work, right? So then
Yeah.
we got to switch to something totally different. Not that we're going to stop, but that branch is done,
Right.
right?
Right.
We have to go to the next branch. And I think
Yeah.
life is a lot like that. I like to look at the parallels because I'm into computers and math, but I'm also into art.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I think,
and
like, and I am as well. Like, I was a project manager for a tech company, and I'm a painter. So you and I have a lot there. So as this continues, it says, thus the master stays centered in Tao. Now, Tao, once again, is a word that doesn't really have a thing. It's just it's the void of all things, right? It is the thing that everything emerged from. I mean, if you have any religious sort of background, it could be considered God or something along
mhm.
those lines, and becomes an example for the world. Because she knows her light is forfeit, people can see it. And that reminds me of what you're talking about in this idea of like, that this update will be updated again and it is forfeit. It like this update may have to get reverted or may have to change or may have to get updated in some way. And when you know that that which you are doing right now is doesn't isn't permanent, when you can allow yourself to just flow with that, then permanence becomes a part of you, not it, not your actions. Your actions aren't permanent, but
Yeah,
your actions as they interact with the world around you become permanent because you actually change everything around you. So this update, even though this update that you're making today within your body or within a system, even though this update may eventually get booted out in a couple years or a couple weeks or the next update, who knows, may just kind of get overwritten, but it will completely, it as a thing will change how we see things and will change stuff, and so it will be permanently a part of everything even if it doesn't get seen anymore.
yeah. I mean, that's the initial. That's how I understand the work I do, but also with my music, I'm very much into like experimental, like jazz infusion, and even
Mm-hmm.
like prog rock. And today
No.
we're kind of in a stage where people want to hear like a 2 minute song, and I'm into like yes, right, like 15-minute songs, right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then when I play live, I don't necessarily want to do what I did in the studio.
Right.
I want to play it like organically and just go with what I feel. And you have, kind of today where that is not what a lot of people want. They want you to do exactly what you did, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
they want predictability.
yeah, and I'm very much into unpredictability. I use analog synthesizers, which are
Mm.
old tech
Beautiful. Yeah.
that like Moogs and
Mm-hmm.
Prophets,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
these things. I build my songs from the waveform. I build the sounds. I don't
Mm-hmm.
sample. I don't use
Beautiful. DAWs.
I don't use digital audio workstations. I use multi tracks, and so I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of going to 1960s, 70s because I like the feel of what that was, and a lot of people call it happy accidents.
Yeah, and you
That-
don't even have to. You don't like that's what you want to do. That's what you're driven to do. You don't need a reason, right? You
yeah,
don't
yeah,
need a reason to do what you want to do. You just do what you want to do. Who fucking cares? Like you
yeah,
just out there doing what you do, And you know, as we read this, because she has no identity, she becomes a mirror for others. And what you're saying here is like, look, I want to do that. The moment you have a reason, you have an identity that attaches you to the 60s. You can just say, no, I just like these. And once you stop there, you don't have to have an identity. You
Yeah.
don't have to hold on to why. There is no why, because that why may change in a year. And if and when it does, you're open to growing into, like, maybe you're gonna use a sample, maybe you'll find value in that at some
Yeah.
point, maybe you'll change your concept. But if we have a why that says, like, this is less valuable, well, then you will be hindering yourself from your ability to grow by putting a value or on something.
Well, I think a lot of what I do as a producer in music, I do what serves the song, what serves the song. So
Right.
I have modern machines that do sampling. I have modern based DAW type of
Yeah,
equipment.
of
What
course.
I try to do is make it as variable as possible. I
Right. You were
try,
able to step up
yeah,
as an artist and let intuition guide the way. That's
yeah.
another
I try
quality.
not to let the computer tell me what BPM to use. I try
Right.
not to let the computer tell me to stay in the same key because it will. And if
So
and then you don't I don't want it to. So I want it to I see it as, oh, that's guidance I don't have to necessarily follow.
you don't
Uh,
have to necessarily follow, but here, as we read this, the end of this verse, thus when it is said to become complete, know that you are partial. And that's what you're doing. You're saying, oh, look, I can use the computer, but I don't have to. Right?
yeah.
Like, I am in collaboration with my surroundings, with my computer, with the song. I'm in collaboration, but I am only a part of that. It
Yeah, I
is
mean there's
wise to
yeah.
heed and surrender to this. Only by living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion. And that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean there's some songs where okay, I will follow the computer's advice because I do want to make a club banger, right? And so okay, fine, I will. But if I want to do something more experimental, I might not. And it's kind of like whatever serves the song. So I've always tell other producers and people I work with is like I'm not going to necessarily always use my analog. I might have to use the digital machine because I need to use a piano or I need to use strings and I got to use it. And so it's whatever I need. If the song needs a flute, then I'll get a real flute and play it because I can play it. So that's it's kind of whatever you need to do it. You figure out what you need. But a lot of times, as an artist, the muse or like we feel it coming from the universe. Like we pick up as musicians stuff that's already out there. Our influences, what we feel, and other outside things, inside things, and it kind of you're a receptor and you feel that and you can put it down because that's what you are. You're a creator.
That's right. Well, this was so great. I'm so glad that you picked 22, and it aligns so well with all that you're doing. And I am excited that we got to connect. Thank you so much, Phantom Electric Ghost. I'm really grateful that you came up.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna move on to Empress. Empress, my Chicago sister out there in Texas. we're gonna talk a little bit about as as everything is. How are you doing? Are you being affected at all by flooding and rains and stuff?
No, not where I live. And I'm sitting on my porch right now and soaking up this rain and enjoying it.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I know
Okay.
that there's a lot of, out there when we don't, in areas where like there's not a lot of rain, the land has a problem soaking it up, so it can just
Yeah.
run off.
I live in Mansfield, so I'm south of Dallas. And so it's just tons of greenery out here. So I know the earth is definitely enjoying the rain and
I'm glad.
so I am enjoying it as well because we had not had rain in almost well over 90 something days. So
Oh shit! That shit
yeah,
don't happen in Chicago, so that's a long time.
right. That's a long time. Okay, even the earth was
I'm
praying.
telling you,
Okay,
man, 90 days. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's over 90. It was over.
Jeez,
Yeah, we
man.
have not had rain. It rained a couple of
I
days
know, I
ago,
know, I know. In
really hard.
Chicago, we can go. We have not in Chicago, as you know, we can say, well, we haven't had sun in 40 days, but
Right, right, right. But the temperature is still good, and that's the beautiful
that's
part about it. But here, heat like 104, 105, 102 every
oh
day,
fuck off.
nonstop. pounding. The sun rays are pounding down.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what's the word I want? That's abusive. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So the temperature is beginning to drop a little bit into the 90s, and I think okay.
you got my sympathy. We dropping into the 90s. It's
In a
almost like a
little,
relief. It's like dropping in the 90s. I'm up here going, whoa, fuck. Like
I think we got to 87 one day, so that was really a breeze, but
one day
still
at 4 in the
warm. But
morning.
yeah, you're right, you're right. So I can't wait to get back to Chi-Town. That's
I'm
all
telling
I can
you, you
say.
bring it. You bring it. You come.
um, I really love the number, the conversation that Phantom came up with. I wrote down some really key points that were so powerful and even good for discussion. That was really a good number.
Yeah, 22. It was nice. And I, like I've been using my translation when I can. So that was
Hmm.
my translation. And I'm really digging what I'm doing with Dao. I'm really excited about how it's kind of coming through me. So
Yeah, I ran across, and I said we're going to have a separate conversation at another time, but I ran across some information in doing some research about the Tao and health.
yeah,
And I thought
yeah,
about
there's a lot.
like, wow, that it, oh boy,
It is,
it's
when we, so much about the Tao is really like if we wanted to kind of separate what Tao, and the thing is you can't separate it, right? Like that's what
right.
the first verse of the Tao really kind of expresses. Like, look, you can talk about it all you want, but that's not it. And so we can talk about it as like, oh, it's about reducing stress. Well, it's not about that. It happens
No,
to do
no.
that. And you can say, oh, it's about like, healing. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it can be, but it's not about that. It happens to help you stay healthy. It happens to help you do all these things. But really, it's about connecting with your, like for lack of a better word, God power, the
Mhm,
relationship with
mhm.
God, relationship with all that is, with the creator that is within you as you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And so I'm beginning to read it, and I'm definitely going to be incorporating some of this information into my life because I'm definitely my two things is spirituality and health. So I definitely will be reading that to better understand because I really focus more on um, our interior self when it comes to health. Our
That's right.
organs,
Yeah,
our heart, our blood. These are the things that we need to take care of in order for us to be healthy.
that's right.
Not the external side, but what putting on the inside, what we're doing on the inside, what we're caring for on the inside is what causes the exterior part of us to be healthy or functional. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to have that conversation with you. But
Well,
the
yeah. Let's
time will
let's
come.
let's start by
Yeah.
picking a number. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so uh last week I had 19 show up and I said I gotta talk to Martin because I
Yeah.
gotta see what this number is. It's coming up 3 times. So number
Oh,
19.
number 19. Okay, I'm gonna read you my translation. We're gonna go to my
Okay,
trans
please.
because why not? I want to explore the work I'm doing. So I've been titling all of these, and I entitled this one "Real Education." So it states, "Don't aspire to be holy or smart. You will finally find happiness. Don't inquire about morality and justice. You will finally be perfect. Don't create things or want to profit. You will finally be secure. If all that fails to inspire you, stay as humble and simple as possible, and at least you won't be selfish."
That makes sense, particularly the last one. Don't create things to profit.
Yeah.
And that is something that I have been doing, because a lot of my work I give away.
Yeah.
I give it away because when I really begin to adjust the lenses of my eyes to see what the world is pushing us toward, that everything has to be about money. And I just got to talking about cause and effect. And so when we put outwardly into the universe those things that we want to give, then the universe will also give back to us at the same measure in which we have given. And so I think that particularly the third statement that you made, don't create through profit. What, how did you say it?
Yeah, so it's stated, don't create things or want to profit. Now, the idea here is the idea, as I understand it, is
Uh-huh.
don't go out of your way to create things in the with the kind of intention
Intention,
of,
right. And that's
yeah,
what I'm
with the
saying.
intention of like exchange. I'm going to make this because there's an exchange rate to this thing. Don't create
Right,
things in, to contribute in this way that it's like yours, right?
right.
Like when you allow yourself to be inspired to do something, and your intention is, okay, I want to get this out in the world. And even like we live in a world right now that needs money, so yes, like there's nothing wrong with selling things, like that can be okay. But if you have the intention of, I am going to, like, I started uh doing, like, translating the Tao just as like a thing that I do because it's such a part of my life. I started doing my own translation of it. And now it's like, oh yeah, this is something that the world likes, and I'm going to be able to offer it for free here on Tao of the Day. But then I can also
Mm-hmm.
put it on my website and put it up for sale. So people, if they want it, they can buy it, and I can benefit by being able to continue giving it away from free here on Tao of the Day.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
And
I'm
then
speaking about
there's
the intention.
alignment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
maybe
intention.
maybe
Yeah.
that's still wrong. Maybe that's still wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be profiting in any way. But, whatever. Like, I'm going to have faith in the fact that, like, I'm being inspired to be here doing what I do.
Right. Right. Because, sometimes when we create things, then we start calculating the cash as we begin to
Right.
create. Oh, so this, okay, so $50 times 300 people, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That
I
is
got to
what
sell
I'm
this
saying.
many and I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Grr.
Right. Right.
All I
Right.
got to
That's
do is
what
do the
I'm
math.
saying. So
Yeah.
it's not about that, but I totally agree that when you are inspired to do something, but not with the intention of selfishness and greed
Yeah, and taking advantage of people,
and
and
taking
I think
advantage
that's
of
really what
people.
this
Right.
is. Yeah, because when we look at these as three, don't aspire to be holy or smart. Holy or smart is like in the eyes of other people, because you're going to be yourself no matter what. But holy or smart is like you're trying to, in relation to other things, be holy or smart. Now, this is a comparison because words, holy and smart, as soon as we create that, we create its opposite. We create the evil and we create stupid.
Right.
Right? So don't aspire to be holy or smart because that creates evil and stupid. Don't
Right.
inquire about morality or justice, because when you're inquiring about morality and justice, you're looking outside of yourself for those answers.
Right.
You will
And that
finally be
is the
perfect.
key. Yes, that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
And we're not looking
And
within, but we're
all of
looking
these
without.
are about looking
Yeah.
outside of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has
I
that
and,
rain
and
picked
I
up?
yeah. I know that that works because I do that, and keep in mind that when I come on and I'm getting my Dow for the day, I am taking what you are sharing and I'm incorporating it in my activities of my work, of what I
That's
need to
beautiful.
do to make that shift. I don't just listen to it for the day and then that's it, but I'm putting it in the scope of all the things I'm supposed to be working on that I am being divinely guided toward to make sure that I don't fall back into the patterns
Hmm.
that is going to prevent me from being where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. And this piece wraps up with, if all that fails to inspire you, if doing things for yourself, if not being either holy or smart, or not being moral or justice as it relates to other people doesn't inspire you, or if it doesn't inspire you to not want to make a profit, then just stay as humble and simple as possible, and at least you won't be selfish. And
Right.
that's the least that we can do, is go out, be humble and simple.
And that's hard to do. Being humble is something that you have to really, really work on. That's not an easy task.
No,
Uh
no,
oh, he
not.
went. Oh, okay. I wasn't looking at the phone. I just
No, yeah.
heard
No,
the
I had
words.
to, like, there's some work being done on the house here, and that's a little loud, so I just wanted to mute it
Oh,
so it's
that's
not, yeah, so
fine.
it's not too disturbing. And at least you won't be selfish. And that's the thing. If we can live our lives and just not be selfish, and recognize that other people can do what they do, and we can do what we do, and we want to be able to do what we do. And
Yeah,
then if we and others can, we can give them, we can give others the freedom to do that as well.
absolutely, absolutely. In other words, just allowing, or respecting people where they are and what they believe, and still be mutual at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, we want to be able to let people be who they are, but we often say, especially when we get like a moral bug up our butt, we always say, "Oh, but this is the right thing to do." It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, well, maybe there isn't a right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not a thing. Maybe there is no right way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's from the inside. If we follow the path from within, that's the right thing to do.
That's right.
follow
Like,
follow your path from within.
and what we were talking about here is, like, don't aspire to be holy or smart as in
Mm-hmm.
relation to the things around us. Don't
Wow.
aspire, don't inquire about morality and justice. Why should you inquire about morality and justice if you trust yourself?
Absolutely.
Because morality says all sorts of things that maybe you as an individual right now won't agree with, because your life is in danger, or because, whatever. It's not, when we inquire about morality and justice, what we get is corporate understanding of what ethics are supposed to be, so people don't steal.
Right.
But that's
I'm
not
getting
real.
ready. My time is getting ready to go out. I just want to say thank you for helping me continue to add on.
Oh, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure. And you definitely let me know when you get into Chicago, because I would love to sit down with you. Julie, it has been a minute. How are you doing, my love?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm just sitting here, like, sharing the Tao as I do, and loving on that. And I was, I'm gonna end with you today, and we're gonna chat. It's been such a long time. And are you still journeying, or are you? I know you're done with the bicycle portion, but
The
what?
journey never ends.
Yeah, that's right. So what? So where are you? Like, you're on the boat now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
you're quote unquote home.
I'm home with my thoughts and my visions and the things that I've experienced and the things that I've seen. The
Yeah,
people who've loved on me so much.
yeah,
You know, that is the biggest thing that, for me has really blown me away.
yeah.
There's been so many people, so
And
much love and support.
it's so great when you get the opportunity to be forced to receive other people's love, because
Yeah.
You know, like you get to really open yourself up to it. I think
Yeah.
there's most of our lives we're not forced to receive, and we're told that we need to be independent. We're told that we need to not need
Yeah.
things. But I think when we're put in a position where we're forced to receive and we have to, then you know things can really come in, and it can be much we can
Yeah.
really see our value.
Yes. And the value of the giving. It's a magical thing.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to just go and talk to someone you've never met in your life before and just ask them simply for what you need. No more, no
Yeah,
less.
no, just what you need.
Just what you need. And that those hands, if I could give you a visual, if I was on the palm of a huge hand, I was passed from palm to palm and
Yeah.
held in safety and love the whole way. I didn't even have to ask for it or think about it. It just happened.
Yeah. And it's
And
and
that
it's
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 blown my
it's
mind away.
it you know it really comes to your having been forced to have to receive.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if we're not forced to receive, we want to do it on our own.
Yeah,
You know.
we have a tendency to need to plan and push and
Hmm.
force. But as you know and I know, force just sometimes takes away from the sign, the
Yeah,
synchronicity, the being. Sometimes when you force, it's too much. It
that's right.
doesn't happen. You miss the mark.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what
Well,
I've
let's
discovered.
see if we can have a Tao about that today. What is your
Let's see. I'm gonna go for number one.
one? Okay, well, this is all about expressing Tao. So, as I've been writing the Tao, I've recognized how important and beautiful the Tao is in terms of it's not, even though I present it and hey, pick any number, there is something different about going through it 1 through 81 in order. And I've been going
Mm,
through it in order, and so I'm going to read 1, and this is a beautiful way of understanding like what you're going to be getting into in terms of the Tao, in terms of the Tao Te Ching. So what it says is words are particular. They cannot express Tao. To have a name is to be limited to the manifestation. The nameless is the source of all manifestation. Self-referential, those who name themselves. To experience the depth of the mystery, stop identifying. To experience the shallowness of manifestation, differentiate. Either way, no one can tell. The difference is in the experience.
lovely.
And as I see this, is this idea either way, no one can tell. The difference is in the experience. You had an experience along the road, and one that in people's mind could be like, oh, they planned it all out and they knew exactly what they were going to do and they were this and that and whatever. But your experience was very different than how people might be able to perceive it,
Yes.
and your experience was different than
Brad.
everybody's experience,
Yeah.
Brad's experience,
Yeah. Or anyone,
everybody
but
that you interacted with.
yes.
Your experience was different, and no one would be able to tell if those experiences were genuine or not. I
Yes.
mean, Brad may have a very shallow experience of the whole thing, and it could be contributing into his life in a very different way. And
Yeah.
you could have a very deep understanding of like how these things, and like every interaction you had might be something that is special, and maybe you don't remember it all, but you still have been affected by it.
Mm.
So either way, no one can tell what's going on within you, but that difference is in the experience. And when we
And it
start,
isn't. It isn't. nameable. There's
Right.
no
It's
way I
not
could.
nameable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
That
and
is,
anytime you try to name it,
I'll
you're
be off
moving
the mark.
towards you're off the mark. Words are particular. That's the first
Yes.
line here. Words are particular, which means, you know, you can't like your experience with someone is not particular. It is very unique. It
Yeah.
is very it is deep. And it's not just about a particular thing. It is about you bringing all of your experience to this moment. And if you were to try and express what was happening in that moment when you were with somebody, you're off the mark.
That's right.
And so
Absolutely.
words cannot express Tao. And your experience was very in line with Tao because you were just there having the experience.
Yeah. And as I was chatting about all sorts of things when I was talking to another person, and there was this essence, this feeling, this connection that is unnamed, but you know it's there. They know it's there. I know it's there. Anyone can put a name on this? No. Can
Right.
I name how you are feeling about that experience? No. But we know it's there.
Yeah,
It's just mind blowing. And
it
that's
is.
what the word mind blowing means to me.
Yeah.
I have no words, but
Yeah.
I do have a deep gratitude and love for it because
Yeah.
I never made it.
Right.
It didn't solely come from me. It didn't solely come from being in a place or a particular time, although I noticed those particular places, people, and time, the synchronicity of it, which is another word that blows my mind.
Yeah. Synchronicity. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it's such a and we lean on that to be but that is what Tao is. Like Tao
Yeah.
is that which brings it home for us in that way. You know, and in these next lines, to have a name is to be limited to the manifestation. And this isn't something that is limited to the manifestation, right? And so you don't want to put a name on it.
Yeah. Now you've just hit what I'm thinking about today.
What's yeah. Like, you know, and here we have like the nameless is the source of all manifestation. Right? So if you can allow this to exist without a name, you will manifest more.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not pinning it down. It's almost to me, it reminds me of pinning down a beautiful butterfly and putting it in a case.
Yeah,
That's what you do when you name something. You square it off, box it.
mm-hmm.
It never functions again the way that it was when you saw that butterfly in its environment, wherever it was, doing its thing with its life essence in it. You wanted it, you wanted to name it, you pinned it so you could show everybody. There you go, there's the butterfly. It's
That's
not
right.
the same. It's
Yeah,
not.
there's a song with a line that I like a lot, which is "The rose died because you picked it."
Yeah, that's a massive one of mine. That is, I am.
Yeah,
Don't buy me flowers. Buy
yeah,
me a plant.
yeah.
Plant me a seed. That'll do.
And you know, like this next line is interesting because it's like self-referential. Those who name themselves, and we've already learned that naming limits you to the manifestation. And so, if you go around telling everybody like what this experience was, then you're probably going around telling everybody what you are, limiting yourself even further.
Yes. Yeah. The journey is not there for me to tell you about. The
Right.
invite at the very beginning was there. You had a choice. You could be on that journey, and whatever you think that journey is yours, not
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Yeah.
That's the key of it. That's the key of it.
And
So I,
then
I can't tell you really
no,
about the journey from your point of view,
right. All
or
you
the
can do is limit it to the manifestation. This is what happened.
yeah. That's it.
That's
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. I
That's
can
it.
only use description,
Right.
but it won't give you that. It can never be lived again. It
Yeah.
can
And
never
as
be
long as you
experienced
remember
in that
that,
way.
as long as
Yeah.
you remember that, then you can go ahead and give the description, but you don't have to name yourself. You don't have to identify with that.
Yeah.
And that'll at least keep you open to the full
More.
experience. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Because one of the questions that people have asked me, a few people have asked me, I've only been home 2 to 3 days. What are you going to do next? What's your plan next? And I'm
What
like,
the fuck?
yeah, hang on a minute, pal.
Yeah. What am I something that you want to live through now?
Yeah, yeah,
Am I someone
absolutely.
that, like, no, like, this is like what I'm going to live today. That's what I
That's right.
did on the trip.
Yeah. And
Like, just
that's what I
because
do
just
now.
because I made the plan that I was going to do it, like, I mean, who knows? Maybe tomorrow I'll buy a tugboat, like, I don't know,
Yes,
like, but it doesn't matter,
that's
you know?
right.
And that's the thing and that's where we come here to express the depth of the mystery. Stop identifying. There is
Yeah,
nothing next. And
absolutely.
that doesn't mean that something won't happen. It just means
Correct.
that I am doing nothing next because when I was on the trip, I did nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing is everything,
Yes.
you know.
Oh, it's lovely to talk to
And then
you.
here, like the next line in this is to experience the shallowness of manifestation, differentiate. Go ahead and tell them what you're going to do next, and ask what you're going to do next, and do all of the things about differentiating from, instead of being open to all of experience, I'm going to close myself off to one.
Yes, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That is why I don't know what I'm going to do next. And I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, because now you don't have to differentiate.
I can follow my
That's
path.
right.
The path is there. It's all out there. Everything is out there. Every experience is out there. Everything.
That's
Any
right.
place, any person is all out there for me. Why on earth am I going to say
I'm going to do
I'm
this.
doing that next?
Yeah, because I woke up one day and I had that thought, so now I'm gonna do that. Whatever. I'm just gonna, like, and that's why I like how this one ends as well. Either way, no one can tell. The difference
That's
is
it.
in the experience. Nobody can tell whether you're actually connected or whether you're actually happy, and it doesn't even matter.
That's right.
It's
That's
your
the thing.
experience.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The whole thing. It was.
That's right.
Now
It
I'm
was.
in what I am in now is. That's where I am based. That's where I was based the whole way was
That's right.
is.
That's
And
right.
I'm still in is now.
That's right. Oh, Julie. I am so grateful for you and all that you share here on Tao of the Day, and all the, just you're so beautiful, and you're doing such great, just personal work that we can all
Yeah, how
also
about that?
benefit
How
from.
about being given the tools, Martin
That's
John?
right. Look at that. Look at
Look at that, eh?
that. And just given the tools to love yourself, and that's
That's
and
right.
that's
Yeah,
all one
yeah.
needs, man. That's
You
all one needs.
you are amazing. That's all I got to say. You know exactly what I mean by that.
I do. Thank you.
Just that giving without any transaction.
Yeah.
Look what has grown.
That's right. And the world is
Love.
such a better place because of it. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate you and Brad and your journey, and your continuing to be an inspiration, live Tao as you know it in this moment. Thank you all so much for joining me on Tao of the Day. I love you guys so deeply, and I am here weekdays, usually in the morning, sometimes Central Time, and presenting Tao of the Day. Like I mentioned a couple times today, I am writing my own rendition of Tao, and I'm using that. At some point, there is going to be a day of the Tao where I will go through them one at a time, and go through them probably over 2 days, because I don't want to do a 20-hour day. So probably go through them like 15 minutes each, and we'll go through them, we'll talk about them, and if you wanted to come up, you'll be able to. So if you benefit from the work I do and the work that you hear here, consider sending me a tip through Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. You can also do that through Linktree, which is there is a link in my in my profile for that. Thank you once again for joining me, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.